there's got to be some contingency plan kind of if they move on from Matt Canada, and one of those contingency plans is Byron Leftwich, offensive coordinator from the Bucks. What do you kind of make of him as a candidate for this job? I know he still is technically still employed by the Bucks, but people seem to think that's not going to last very long.
Yeah, so the Pewter report said that he's on his way out. I always believe the Pewter report. I don't know how these people aren't like recognized nationally by the NFL. They always have the noise, always. And like it stinks that they're just the Buccaneers, because if it was a cool team with interesting people on it outside of Tom Brady, like they'd have the most insight in football. I got to give it to them. The thing with Leftwich is there's two sides to the story. There's the 2022 was a disaster. They ranked 25th in the NFL in points per game, which is only ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers at 26. Yeah, it was like 18.4 is terrible. But in 2021, they had the second best offense in football. The question is, did they have too much talent in 21, or did they not have enough talent in 2022 and he can't work with less than ideal talent? Because the Buccaneers roster a year ago was crazy. There was Ali Marpet, who left, I believe. Ryan Jensen got hurt this season. Rob Gronkowski retired. Antonio Brown left halfway through the season. You had a Tom Brady who was definitely better last year than he was this year. I mean, your defense was better. I just feel like that team was dominant. And is it just like, oh, well, we lost a lot in 1 year, it's hard to make up for that? Or is it, well, unless we have everything, I can't really operate? I think that's the big question with them.
Well, I think the other question is, how would, like, if Tom Brady showed up to every practice and didn't,
yeah, very true, didn't miss 11 days,
right, and didn't take like half a training camp off, like maybe the season goes differently. The other thing is, like, they still had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Leonard Fournette.
True.
Like, I don't think there was a real shortage of talent on the Bucks, which does make me a little wary about Leftwich. That said, I think he has good experience. I don't think in that same vein, like, I don't think last year was just luck for him. You don't just coordinate the second best offense in the NFL on accident. If they didn't need an offensive coordinator to play that well, then they wouldn't have had one. So Leftwich probably is a candidate if and when he gets fired or let go by the Bucks. I don't know if would be my first, like, if you're the Steelers and you're kind of ranking your choices, I don't know if he's your top choice right now.
I know that's what I was going to ask you. Like, are you doing that? Are you taking a risk on a guy? Because when we had these conversations a week ago, or Monday, I guess, it was, they're probably waiting for somebody, but they're waiting for like their top guy. I just have, like you said, I have a hard time saying that their top guy is a guy who's about to get fired, who ranked one spot ahead of them in points per game this season.
Yeah. And like I don't think that's, like, I think Tom taking all that time off, like, there's no way that didn't hurt the team like so much.
You don't get divorced, you're a much better quarterback.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, and yeah, he's just going to be able, like, there are going to be fewer personalities to manage. He can kind of focus more on the football side of things. He can kind of build an offense more in his image, I guess, if that makes sense, just given how young the Steelers are. Like, he's not having to, go through a power struggle with Tom Brady every week for play calling duties, and
True.
For, like, to see who actually has control of the offense. So I would be optimistic about what he could do. I just, if you'd feel a little bit safer with, like, Frank Reich or probably Frank Reich. I was gonna say Kingsbury, but
but he's in Thailand. He's
right.
he's just chilling. He's just enjoying life in Thailand. That's just what you do now. Good for him.
Literally, I cannot imagine. Like, you see all these coaches get, like, bought out for millions upon millions of dollars, and
and then people make a big deal. Like, oh man, I feel so bad for him. What? You could buy me out for millions of dollars tomorrow. I'll go to Thailand. I'm not upset about it at all.
Right. And like, well, these coaches all like try to jump right back into coaching again. I'm like, no, you got this all wrong, dude.
Yeah.
You could retire at 45 or whatever, and you
Yeah.
are just
Or take a
fumbling.
year off. Like, just like, first off, if you're in the coaching market, your value increases.
The longer you're
3
not coaching.
Yeah, you take a year off, everybody just totally forgets that you had a bad year. They're just like,
Right.
well, Cliff, remember in 2008, man, he was the best Texas Tech coach of all time. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's very true. He did suck in the NFL, but I see where you're coming from. And people will, if the longer he stays away from football, the better chance. And I think that's the same thing. Like Matt Canada took a year off, and here he is today. He's the offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You want to know what everybody forgot about? That before this, he did nothing before Pitt. Nothing at all. Because all your bad gets erased if you take a year off of sports. That's just, it's the truth. It's the truth. But is Byron Leftwich the answer? I don't know. I think it'd be a concerning hire, but I think at this point you could hire me and you, and we'd get a good chunk of the fan base excited that it's not Matt Canada. I think that's all it comes down to.